Ankle Breaker Podcast, episode 16. I just want to say, if there's any connection issues, if I'm cutting out quite a bit, I really do apologise because we had a bit of an issue with how the quality is of my sort of connection or whatever on the green room before. So sorry about that if there's any problems, but hopefully this does how it is right now. I'm pleased to be joined by this afternoon regular co-host Rugby League Round Up and special guest Sam Revill. So I'll start with you, Billy, as the co-host. How you been today?
Oh, very happy weekend, very happy day today. So yeah, I'm good. How are you, bro?
Yeah, all right. I'm going pretty well, and just it's good to have Sam Revill on here as a special guest. I mean, he was on here I think last year as well for the Ankle Breaker Podcast, episode 7 or 8, one of the early episodes. That was the last time he was on this. So, Sam, how's it been since then? How you been today?
Yes, man. My second jersey on the Ankle Breaker Podcast today, mate. Thank you so much. Billy, it's good to interact with you as always online. And you're coming in loud and clear, Lorenzo. All good, man.
Well, thank God for that, because it was not good before the connection how I was speaking. So it was good now, and that's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's always the topics. Just want to say hello to the live chat. Got 6 people watching, which is not too bad. I've got Jason Reader in the chat, Evening Prorenzo Vidz, and how are we, lads? CJ Moxley, Wales, Zenedin, Warriors, NRL Fanatics, they're all coming in right now. So it's good to see everyone tuning in at this good time. J Lockyer 03 in the chat as well. Yeah, all right, looks good. So obviously we have a bit of footy back this weekend, and obviously it's great to have the footy back, which is always a great thing. So it's what we're going to be starting off with, actually. So we're going to go through our NRL Trials Week 1 review. Basically, we're going to review the round of footy that we saw Week 1. So obviously, there's a lot of good games, I thought, as well. I mean, some were a bit, but some were pretty good. Like, I thought that yesterday's game between Parramatta and the Dragons was very entertaining. There were games of the balls, I reckon. Those games were just blowouts. Like, Manly the Tigers was always going to be a blowout. That was pretty boring for some fans, apart from myself, of course. There was some all right games out there, I thought. But basically we're just going to be reviewing the round we saw of the trials and just give our general thoughts on what we thought about it overall. So, Sam, obviously you probably watch all the trials in this weekend, and just want to get your quick thoughts on it, bro. Like, what did you think about the round of footy overall?
Mate, I feel like I've just picked up at the club for the first time in about 6 months. I feel fresh and replenished, mate. It was good to sit down and watch some footy over the weekend. I thought the Canberra Raiders, besides my own club, I thought the Canberra Raiders were the most impressive for reasons that we'll probably get into in a hot minute. Cronulla Sharks were disappointing, in particularly the performance of Braden Trindle as well, man. But overall, it was trials. No need to get pumped up too much. No need to be disappointed all that much. But if I had to pick a standout team besides Penrith, I'd probably go Canberra Raiders, man.
Yeah, that's a fair call. Canberra beat Roosters. I got to say, I know it's a trial. I know Roosters had all their players out, but the way some of their particular players played, I thought Dave Savio, I think he was a standout player of the match. I got to say as well, someone like, what's his name? The hooker was Trevelyan. I'm pretty sure the hooker, that's his name, the young dummy half of the Raiders. I thought he had a good game as well. So, yeah, Trevelyan. Yes, yeah, that's the one. So there was a couple of I don't know what's going on with Billy, by the way. But yeah, Canberra were good, and I do agree. Rugby League Round Up. So obviously you probably watched the trials as well, I imagine, for the weekend. What were your thoughts on some of the games you saw this weekend? What's your whole take on it?
In general, I thought it was all right. I was pumped for the footy. It was good to see the footy back because I was bored for the last 4 months. So yeah, good to see the footy back. Some games were pure snooze fest, and it was just boring to watch. But then there was some games that were good to watch. The only one I fell asleep to was the Manly game because that was absolutely smack. It was like just a smacking, so I just fell asleep towards the end. But other than that, I thought it was all right. Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone will say the exact same thing as you just said then, Billy. But if you're a Manly fan, then you'll be bright awake.
Yeah,
You'll be
yeah.
happy. You'll have all the energy in the world if you're a Manly fan. That's the difference. But yeah, but no, I agree with what both you said. It was just great to have the footy back in general. Some good games as well. It doesn't matter how good the game was or how good or bad some games were. The main thing is the footy's back, and that's really what matters, I think, because I think teams like Sam said, I thought Raiders were a standout this round. Manly were pretty good. I thought even the young Panthers side were pretty good as well. I know we can't really say too much or judge too much on the Sharks and Panthers game because there was a bunch of rookies playing, etc. But just tell from that game in particular, why the Panthers have the best junior system in the competition because some of their rookie players, like I thought Thomas Jenkins, that young winger, was pretty good. Isaac Tago, Maverick Geyer, Mark Geyer's son, he was very good. So they have a good mix of rookies there, the Panthers, that really impressed for me. So it just goes to show you how good their junior system is and what they're doing for the future. As well as Dragons, Dragons were pretty good. I liked how they played. I thought, some of the players like Moses Sully looked pretty fit and seems to be in for a big year if he can, stay consistent. But yeah, it was good. It was a good round of footy. I was really excited to see, the footy come back, and it was a good round of footy in general. In the chat, CJ says, walked past, get that yuck East jersey off.
My brother.
Was that an East jersey? I thought it was a Tigers jersey in the background. Who was walking.
No, my brother's ashamed to even look at
the
the Tigers jersey, to be honest. Yeah, no way he's wearing a Tigers
I don't blame
jersey.
him because
he was a Cowboys fan.
Sorry. Anyway, we're going. Was he? Oh, Sam, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, he was. He was a Cowboys fan for like 4 or 5 years.
No, that's all right, mate. There's a couple of bandwagoners around town, aren't there, eh?
Yeah. He's the only one in their family that's done that. Yeah, there's been
He's
a few
turned
clubs.
into a trader. No, I'm joking. Okay, we'll move on to the next
clubs.
We'll go to the next topic now. So, so obviously after this, when the podcast is finished, there's exactly about 40 or 30 minutes till the Bulldogs and Knights play as in the trial match. I think as well, it's been played at Newcastle and the week when these two sides play. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a quick preview, basically on just, our predictions and tips for the game, like predictions as in who we think will score a try, who will be the first try scorer, etc. And just as well as, who we think will win the game, like will you go Bulldogs, will you go Knights by 13 plus, 1 to 12, by whatever margin. So basically just a small preview and a tip afterwards. So I'll start with you, Rugby League Round Up again. Who's your tip for the game when the Knights play, and who's your first try scorer in the box?
Well, I looked at both the teams recently, and none of them have their best halves on at the moment. Their fullbacks are fairly all right, but they don't have the greatest spine. So I think it's going to be a tight one, but I'm going to go with the Bulldogs to win, probably around 24 points to 20. And I'm going to go with the first try scorer of Matt Duffy, and any time I'll go with Caleb Ponga.
Yep, sounds good to me. Sam, who are you tipping, and who's your first try scorer for the match and anytime try scorer, mate?
Yeah, man. So I admittedly, I was hoping I could get some more information because unfortunately, I just have not had the time to look at the team lists. But I know that Newcastle put out a decent squad, but I have no idea about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, mate.
Well, if I need to, I would bring the teams up on the screen right now, but need to sort of work out how to do it next time. But what I can do is I've got the teams right here actually, so I will show us the camera, the Bulldogs team. Hopefully you'll see. So right there, that's the Bulldogs team. So let me know if you can see it.
No, it's not the best, bro. I think I can share my screen if you want me. If you want me to.
If you can quickly do that, yeah, if it's possible.
Yeah, I can do that, bro. I
You know
can
how
find a way to do that. It'll take me just a quick second. I think I can get the team up
All right, all
here.
good.
There we go. Okay, so here's the team list for both teams. I'll scroll through it slowly, just so it's not like too fast. But
All
yeah,
right, here we
these
go.
are
I think I just shared it now.
these.
Yep, all working. Yep, it's all scrolling down.
All right, is it there?
Yep, that's the
All right,
teams.
perfect. Sorry, thanks for that, Billy.
No problem, bro.
Right. So, okay, so going for the Bulldogs team. Where did it go?
Oh, would you like me to keep it up? I didn't know you'd like me to keep it up, bro. Sorry, my bad. That's my fault.
Yeah, just keep it up so Sam can see.
Yep.
So Sam can see the teams. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my fault.
I was right in the information that I got before I came on that both these sides have named some decent sides, and particularly Newcastle. Adam Clune, Jake Clifford getting underway later on this evening in the halves, mate. And with Andrew Johns helping them out in the off-season, bro, look for some good signs, mate. And, Clifford came from North Queensland. I really hope he goes well this season. I mean, Kalen Ponga and Matt Duffy is in there as well. So it should be a really nice preview tonight. I can't go past Kalen Ponga as well. I'm sorry to be so generic and copy off Billy, but yeah, with Kalen Ponga in the side in a trial game, I'm sure he's going to be at least involved in a try assist. But I'll get him to go for a try, and I'll back Newcastle to get the win, actually, bro. So I'll tip Newcastle to win. But yeah, you've got Jaden Ockenbaugh, Aaron Shoop, Brandon Wakeham as well. And Jake Averillo, and that's the interesting one. Jake Averillo has been earmarked to be the halfback this season, partnering Matt Burton in the halves as well, man. It's going to be an interesting game, man. They're pretty much close to. Well, it's a good second string side either side, if I can say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good. And some of their full strength sort of sides, because obviously it gives us a bit of an indication on how most of their first graders will go when they do play in actual NRL this year. I like how they have Pango Jr. playing and Paul Vaughan at this and the recruits how they go. Just to sort of get quickly through this, I will give my tip and prediction and who will win now. So I think the Bulldogs will win. I think the Dogs have a stronger sort of side. I think Avrilla's going to have a big game. Obviously, he wants to sort of cement himself in the halves. As well as I think bad game as well. The club obviously wants to prove something that he can stay there for a bit longer. So I think he'll score a try. And in fact, I will say he'll score the first try as well, Matt Duffy. And I think Dogs will win 1-12. And my anytime try scorer back in Pango Jr. I think out there for the game. Yeah, it should be good. It should be good.
Right on.
Yep. All right. We'll move on to the next one now. So this is a bit different to the trials now. So we're moving away from it. It's a bit of news actually. A bit of sort of developing break is how I want to put it. So happening is Billy Walters is the son of the Broncos 5'8". There's talk that he's halves partner for Adam Reynolds in 2022. It's been said that Albert Kelly, Tyson Gamble, Ezra Mam are all up there to be competing with those players like Walters for the half slot partner of Reynolds, but they obviously weren't good enough. And it seems like Walters is set to get the first gig at 5'8" with Reynolds. So just want to hear both of you lads quick thoughts on that. So I'll start with you, Sam. When you heard about this or when you see it right now, what do you think? Is it the right call by the Broncos going forward, having Walters as the halves partner for Reynolds, or would you go with someone else personally?
I can't help but feel that there's an element of nepotism if it does come to fruition that Billy Walters does get that 5'8" or halfback spot for the Brisbane Broncos. I remember his game he had against the Brisbane Broncos as a West Tiger, where they won 48-0 or something like that a year or two ago. And Walters showed how much go he's got. So Billy Walters is definitely a first grader. I really want to see more of him. I think Ezra Mam could be the one to feel hard done by. Tyson Gamble, it feels like he's about to fall off a cliff so far as the rankings go. And Albert Kelly, I thought he's been a nice change of pace for him since he's come into Brisbane. But personally, he would not have been my first choice just because there have been other players in front of him that have been around the club more and probably would have looked better instead of him being the first choice 5'8" under Kevin Walters. I just hope it's not nepotism that's going down.
Yeah, you make a fair point when you say that, actually, because I don't know if it's Kevin being a bit biased towards his son, sort of that sort of situation, I guess, the whole family and everything. Yeah, that's a fair point when you say nepotism like that, because I do believe it's a bit of it involved. So no, that's a fair point. Rugby League Round Up, what's your quick thoughts on it? Do you think Walters is the right man to partner Reynolds in the halves, or would you go with someone else?
For me, it was between Walters and Ezra Mam. I personally had Ezra Mam actually starting in the halves the way he performed the last 2 games. I thought Walters was fairly decent, and I thought it was pretty good in the 2 trials that he played. But he'd worked so well as a player that would come off the bench as a 14 and played in the hooker role when Jake Turpin was tired, or even just starting. He'd probably fit that role perfectly. His speed, he's got good speed and very creative from what I've seen. But I also think, like Sam said, there's probably a bit of fatherly love there. Like a lot, like the Clearys, Darius Boyd and Wayne Bennett. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So.
Oh, fun. Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, they are best fans. So.
That's a fair point.
May I just say, Gamble has turned to. I don't mean to be rude. I know it's only the trials, but from what I've seen, Gamble was all right last year, and he may be a 1-year wonder because it looks like he's turned to complete dust. He just looks like he's falling into a grave because he's not aggressive. I didn't even see him much in the trials. He did not perform to probably what he probably wanted to. So yeah, I don't think he's going to even be close. And Albert Kelly, I thought, he's a good player. He's getting to a bit older now, but I think he should still have an impactful role, whether that's coming off the bench or playing a reserve grade, helping out their team. He'll be a good player. He'll be a good leader, Albert Kelly, for both either Queensland Cup team or the first grade team because such a leader. So yeah, it'd be good to have Albert Kelly somewhere in the side, or if not, he'll probably play in Queensland, but that's okay. He's a good player. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, actually. Just about Kelly quickly before I get into my thoughts on it. I think Kelly suits as a jersey 14, in my opinion. I just watched that All-Stars game and I really jersey 14. I actually think he benefits more from him playing because he can play hooker. He's a guy that can play a bit of ball playing lock as well. I think he's big enough to play in the middle as well as a ball playing sort of lock, like similar to what Connor Watson or Dylan Walker does these days. I think Albert Kelly can be a jersey 14. I think that's a role that could suit him. Like Warriors NRL fans in the chat right here just said that Kane, I reckon, which I agree with. I just think that that's a role that could suit him these days because I do feel like, with having Ezra Mam there, Tyson Gamble, I think there's less opportunity for to really get a gig in the halves again. So maybe as a jersey 14 might be good for him, but we'll see. I think. But I think. Look, I don't think Walters is the answer really. I think Walters is better off being a hooker. To be honest, I think that's where Walters, is more better at, I suppose, and is a bit more proven at playing hooker because at the Tigers, he was playing a bit more there. In that trial match when he played Wyndham, he looked all right at hooker as well. Personally, I'd still go with Tyson Gamble. Games in the trials, but Gamble, what did he show last year at the back end of last year? He has a lot of energy, a lot of pride as a player. So I reckon that's important. I reckon having a player like that with a personality like that's very important to be in a full record. So that's why I think he suits the, Tyson Gamble. Suits the sort of the way Broncos are as a team. But I wouldn't rule out Ezra Mam either. Ezra Mam's obviously got a lot of high ratings, and obviously he's someone to look out for, I guess, for the future. So he'll get his time. But right now, Waltz is the 5'8". We'll see how what's this? CJ Moxie says named Knights captain for 2022 confirmed. Okay, well that's very interesting actually. I think that was always going to happen anyway. I did have a feeling that Knights were going to name him as captain overall. That's actually a good call by Knights as well. All right, we'll move on to the next one. So I believe this is the and it's based on the Cowboys. So obviously, whenever it's a last topic, or whenever it's something like this, we often just go through our thoughts on basically the guest what we've added. Now me and Rugby League Round Up agreed. Final topic of Cowboys coach. I said after that we know the Rabbitohs that there's a lot of spots available amongst the Cowboys team for 2022. Obviously, it means that there's a lot of spots up for grabs, and there's a lot of players that can definitely contend for maybe some of the first grade players right now, like some younger players, for example, like Griffin Neem, or someone like might come in contention, might replace playing, or someone like that maybe. So I guess Sam than me Round Up would in terms of Payton saying that, but Sam, what's your quick thoughts on that when Payton says there's a lot of spots available amongst the side, and what's your general thoughts on it? Because I find it very interesting that there could be some potential we don't expect from Payton.
The first thing is the halves pairings. Obviously, Dearden and Drinkwater are going to be fighting to and fro, and also unless if somebody else comes up on the inside or outside and nabs that spot. So that's one instance. As so far as the back line goes, I think the person that's most at danger of being swapped out in round 2, for example, if he does have a bad performance or average performance in round 1, is Peter Hiku, just because he's a brand new signing to the club. And you got to give him a bit of time. But I like Cowboys' depth in 2022, albeit it's young and inexperienced as well. So I think Peter Hiku in the back line of anyone that you had to choose, I think it'd be Peter Hiku that's in danger, because I think I believe he's a starting centre in 2022. And as far as our forward pack goes, which is where our strength is, if I'm being honest, in my opinion, for 2022, there is a lot of depth. And I think the one that I want to point out is Connolly Lemuelu. Now, Connolly Lemuelu, during the trial this past weekend, he was decent to pretty good actually for us. He actually surprised me with how good his strength was and how good he was in the second row. Maybe his defense needs a bit of work, but I wouldn't have him even in my 17. But for me, it just feels like Todd Payton is really high on Connolly Lemuelu. So don't be surprised if maybe in the first 10 rounds, maybe even first 6 rounds, that you'll see Connolly Lemuelu playing in that second row position. And as you just pointed on there, mate, Griffin Neem got shot out of a cannon this past weekend, bro. He was so impressive for that half an hour against Souths up there in Cairns on Saturday. And I think he's that close to putting himself in the best 17 on a weekly basis if he proves to have another great showing this weekend against the Brisbane Broncos.
You make some good points there, Sam. I just want to touch on Connelly Lemuelu quickly. I don't think he's a back rower. Like I get this preseason they're trying to transition him into a sort of back rower from the back line from the centers. But if he can't back line, what makes other people think that he's going to be able to defend back row? Because he's up against bigger players in the back row. Like I don't think he's a good enough build to be in the back row either. I'm not trying to like talk him down or anything, but I just don't think he's just an average, average 95 kilo, center, wing, whatever. I don't think he's big enough to be a back row. I don't think he's really that type of player that should be playing there. That's just my opinion though. But I know people like Nick don't really rate Lou either. But yeah, it was always do with him this year. Really round up when you see Todd Payton making those comments about the Cowboys team, how there's a lot of spots available amongst it. What do you think about it? Like, where do you think Todd Payton's talking about in terms of what positions they might be, talking about as in terms of pressure and where some players might play? Like, what do you think about it?
I think the position he's probably talking about. I don't know what you guys probably think about this, but I think he's probably talking about the second row position because there's so much players that are all competing. Ben Condon, Helam Lukey, Jeremiah Nanai. There was one other player there. I
Tom
can't
Gilbert.
remember. Yep, Tom Gilbert. There's another player, but I forgot his name. He's not the best, but he's been all right. I think he's played Mitchell Dunn. That's his name. Yeah. So there's like 5 or 6 players there competing for second row spots, and yeah, I think that's a position they're probably talking about. I've looked through their team, and 5'8's another position. Drinkwater, Dearden, and I think Dejan Assi could be a good chance if he plays well, because I thought he was all right last weekend. So him too, he could be competing for the 5'8 spot. But I don't. The back 5, it's completely fine. Chad Townsend's fine. The front row spots are fine. I think the number 9's fine, and then it's just the bench. Like you probably have Jay Granville, a few other players there. I don't know who he's gonna name. It's his mind. He has some weird tricks sometimes. Todd Payton. I mean, he didn't play Tamalolo much minutes last year. He was clearly affected by that. He didn't have as good as a season as other seasons. So, yeah, we just have to wait and see what Todd Payton does with this team, and it's be interesting.
And I agree with that, Billy. I think Todd Payton will. I don't know. I think he's heard the criticism, and I don't think he's going to give a bugger about what anybody's going to say. I think Jason Tamalolo is going to be restricted to those 20-minute halves as well, man, for sure. So, Lorenzo, man, just
sorry about
just
that.
cut out on us, and now you're back. No, you're right, man. No, you're right. No, you're right. You're back.
Yeah, I think what's going on is there's actually a storm about to happen in my area. So it'll be a bit fucked. I think when this
it's gonna happen.
Also,
it's gonna happen.
We're gonna end. Yeah, it's already ruining my connection. So I agree. I agree. I think there's a lot of trouble for the. I think the back line looks pretty much set with Hiku and Felt being there, I guess, as well. There's a lot of availability, I think, in that Cowboys team because obviously they've finished in the bottom 4 for the past 4 years now. So you'd expect a bit of competition for some and a bit of change, I suppose, as well. Maybe a bit more younger players getting chances. So, yeah, I can see Sam with the facial look there. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting year for the Cowboys. So hopefully they go a bit better than what I think they will go. But anyway, might get on out of here now.
Lorenzo. Well, Lorenzo, mate, you've picked us for the bloody wooden spoon at the end of the year. So, by your opinion, we are going to go that bloody well.
Sam, I've got you guys higher. I've got you guys higher than that. Still not the 8, but higher than that. Probably top 10 in my opinion.
Look. Yeah, look, I know, I get it, I know, but I just want to say, for your sake, especially Sam, they go better. I know. I took them for the spoon. I'm still backing it to happen. No offense, but we'll see. We'll see how they go. But anyway,
it's us and Cowboys.
You go well, Manly Dragon. Let's hope they're top 4. No, I'm joking. We'll see but we'll see. But yeah, podcast. I just want to say thanks again to Sam Revill for joining the podcast. It means a lot. Great to have you back on the channel, Sam, and yeah, I will be sure to get you back on the podcast soon.
Thank you very much for having me, Billy and Lorenzo. Thank you very much. I've had fun for sure, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, this has been amazing. I love this podcast every week. Hopping on here, me and Pro Enzo, every week we talk at school, and just getting guests on, helping each other with topics is the most fun I've had. So yeah, I thank Pro Enzo for the last few weeks, and now he's got me as a regular host. So that's amazing, and thank you, Sam, for coming on. Pleasure.
Yeah, no, any time, any time. It was a good podcast. But if you haven't subscribed to both Rugby League Round Up and Sam Revill's channels already, go and check them out in the description down below. Both their YouTube channels there right now. So subscribe to both if you haven't already. But yeah, this brings an end. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next one. So see you later.
Thanks, guys.